Hello! Today's demonstrative speech will be on how to properly groom your horse. My demonstrative speech partner is my little horse, Fiona. First of all, why should you groom your horse? It is important to regularly groom your horse, as not only does it keep them clean, it keeps them safe from external parasites. Or you may discover cuts, scrapes, or other various wounds that have been hidden by the dirt or hair on your horse. Grooming also helps stimulate oils in the horse's hair, making it nice and shiny, and also preventing dandruff. Now, what will our grooming supplies look like? There are various different tools you can use to groom a horse, and here I will name them off, one by one, what their use and what their name is, and the order. This list is according to the 4-H Horse Project book. First on the list is this rubber curry comb. It can be used to remove excess mud or loosen matted dirt. It is most often used on long-haired horses, though can be used on any type, and can be used also to clean your other brushes. Next is the dandy brush. It removes caked on dirt, mud, sweat, and sweat marks that are retained on the horse. It is a stiff bristled brush and is not to be used on any bony parts of the horse such as the lower legs, the withers, or the face. Next is the body brush. This brush is a very soft bristled brush and is to be used to simply dust off the horse, or it can be used as a face brush, and it can be used on bony areas of the horse. Next we have our mane and tail comb, or more preferably, a hairbrush. This does exactly what it says in the name and is to get out the tangles and other things that might be caught in the horse's mane or tail, or even forelock. Second to last, we have our hoof picks. These are simply to clean out the foreign contents of the horse's hoof. There are many different varieties, some without brushes, some with different handles, some that are just plain old metal. However, there are differences between them all, such as this one, whose pick is more square. This one has a more triangular pick and has a more smooth handle, so there's a little bit less grip, like this one does. However, it makes up for it in a little bit of a textured handle, so it's not completely smooth. This pick has less durability, as you can see it has bent up over time, than the other two. This one has stayed relatively straight. However, this one right here, I would say is the strongest, and it is straight up steel and will not bend as easily as the aluminum picks. And this one is handmade. We got this at OSET, the equestrian team competition, and it is probably my most preferred hoof pick. Lastly, we have a cloth, or in this case, baby wipes. To me, baby wipes do a better job than a plain old cloth, as you don't have to wet it or get soap on it if there's extra boogers in the horse's nose. And like I had just stated, cloth, or baby wipes, is used to clean the excess boogers in the horse's eyes or nose. Curry combs can also be metal. However, this one is more likely to be used as a shedding blade, which I will mention later. This one has not been used in a while, obviously, as the gentler rubber curry comb is more preferable. Here we have a few extra grooming tools that we may or may not use later. This is the shedding blade that I had mentioned earlier. This simply helps get rid of the excess hair the horse is shedding off during its shedding season between winter or summer. Here we have multiple facial brushes. This one here is just a regular, tiny facial brush that has medium bristles. It has no handle, it is narrow, and is adequate for getting clumps of dirt off the horse's face. This purple facial brush has a handle, is wider than the previous one, and has much softer bristles. This facial brush is soft bristled, circular, and is more likely to be used in circular motions, perhaps over the horse's cheek. Lastly, out of our facial brushes, we have our rubber facial brush. This one is more commonly used to get the loose hair off of the horse's face. It is quite popular and quite useful, and probably beats out all the other facial brushes. Finally, we have show sheen. Shoshin is a liquid that comes in a spray bottle or can, and it is used to give your horse a finishing shine. It also makes them feel sleek, just like the oils on the horse's hair should. Now that we've covered all of our items, let's go ahead and start grooming our horse. As you can see, our mare has poop stains on her. I believe we should get these off with our curry comb. When using the curry comb, you should use it in nice circular patterns like this, in hopes to get the dirt off. But as you can see, it's already kind of working a bit. However, I don't think the stain is going to go away that easily. Once the main chunks are gone, now you can use your dandy brush. All you have to do is simply brush over the horse's body like this. Some of the hair will also fall off, so that is also a good thing. Don't forget to clean underneath the horse's belly. It is important to remove sweat marks that are on the girth area in here and on their back, as to when the next time you ride them, they don't get saddle sores. Next is the body brush. In brushing, you want to flick dust and dirt away like this, and that will thoroughly dust off your horse, make them nice and shiny. Next we have the mane and tail comb. Before we start brushing, we're going to spray it down with some Shoshin first so that it gets all the tangles out and we don't have to pull out any unnecessary hairs. Now that her mane and tail have both been Shoshined, we can now brush out her hair. Depending on how long it is, you would usually have to start at the bottom. Since the hair at the top of her neck is shorter, we won't have to do so. But here, in the more tangly areas, we want to start at the bottom until those are all worked out, just like people hair, before we start moving up. Now our fiery red mane has all been brushed out. Now we can move on to the tail. Since horsetail brushing is more of a two-handed job, I won't be filming this, but always know, no matter what, always start at the bottom. Now our mare's tail has been all brushed out. Nice, smooth, and shiny. Because Appaloosas are a special breed, I have a special announcement for them. Not only do Appaloosas have a white sclera, mottled pigmentation on their skin, as well as vertically striped hooves, Appaloosas, just in general, tend to have thinner manes and tails. More Appaloosas nowadays are becoming crossbreds, but even they can have thinner manes and tails. Rocky, however, a Appaloosa thoroughbred, has a very thick mane and tail, as well as a very long forelock. Obviously, quite hanky. As you can see, his tail is long and thick and very healthy. His tail is what an average horsetail looks like. It is very pretty. Hayden, on the other hand, has a very short and thin forelock, a thinner mane, and a much thinner tail. So if you ever find yourself grooming an Appaloosa, take heed in their extra care and gentle needs. Now we need to clean our horse's forefeet. As recommended by 4-H, when picking up any horse hoof, you run your hand along the horse's body. In this case, on the foreleg, it is along the horse's neck and shoulder, and you run it down their leg and pinch just above their fetlock and lower extremities. And you pinch right behind this here tendon, and that should do it when you need to pick up the horse's hoof. You work your way from the heel down to the toe, most importantly getting out the dirt that is stuck in the crevices by the frog and the sole. Take caution when working at the horse's hind end, as the horse's hind legs have more powerful kicking power, and therefore, if you were not to be careful, they could possibly kick you. Our sweet little horse, however, doesn't kick people, so she's safe. Picking up the horse's hind feet is the same story as picking up the front feet. This time, run your horse's hand on the lower end of the horse's back, over their croup, down their buttock, and along their back leg. And you pinch in the same spot, and they should give it up to you. Easy, baby. Some of them will pull a little bit on you, but don't give in to them unless it's a bit too dangerous. With this, you can pull their leg out and back some so that they have less leverage to pull back and kick you. For some people that might not make sense, but in the horse world it actually works. And here you would be able to clean out the horse's feet from heel to toe. So you can see I've already done this. A common problem on horse feet is an anaerobic bacteria known as thrush. It appears as a sticky and smelly black substance that will accumulate in the crevices of the hoof, which may be along a shoe or next to the frog in these here crevices, and it is most often caused by poor care of the horse's hoof, of which it can start to build underneath dirt or mud or anything else that gets stuck in the horse's hoof. And if light enough cases are found, then simple regular cleaning of the horse's feet will help make it die and go away. But if severe enough cases arise, you would need to buy a thrush buster or any other type of thrush treatment to help it go away and kill it. Thrush buster can be found online or in a farm store, and it is a purple liquid usually that stains, so it's better to use gloves. You try not to get it on the horse's hair, and you just put it in the areas that are most common for thrush, and it kills it. Now that we are done with our horse's feet, we can now move on to our horse's face. Here we will take our little rubber brush, and we will just go along with the growth of the hair and brush all the loose hairs off of her face. Don't forget the ears. Horse is almost done. Next, we need the little touch-ups. Here we can take our cloth or baby wipe and we can stick it up their nose, get all the gross boogies out of there. See all that grossness? We don't want that in their nasal passages. I know, he's gross. I know. Got the dirt out of their nostrils. Then you can fold it over and you can wipe their eyes. Come here. Since she has some stains on her face here, we're going to try and get those off with this here baby wipe. Come here. Looks a little bit better. Finally, we can spray down their body with show sheen. And now our horse is golden, shiny, and done. It's optional if you want to brush in the substance of the show sheen into your horse's hair further, but since it was just a mist, I don't think I'm going to. Because she's stood here for so long, let's give our horse some treats. Always lay your hand out flat when you give your horse something to eat from your hand. And that's that. If you ever find yourself needing to know how to groom a horse, or ever put in the situation where somebody just hands over the brush and says brush it, at least you know now how to properly groom your horse with almost every grooming tool. Thank you.